Hello, you are welcome to the Daily Focus. My name is Joseph Kofi. This is your #1 interactive talk show where we discuss politics, entertainment, showbiz, Pan-Africanism, and a lot of current issues happening in Ghana, Africa, and across the world. Tonight, we'll be looking at whether American elections have any effect on Ghanaian elections. I hope you all know Joe Biden is now the president of America, and since the birth of Ghana, 1992 till date, you see that anytime Democratic Party of United States of America is in power, NDC in Ghana is also in power, and then when NPP loses, then the Republican Party of USA also loses. So we want to actually look at these two parties in United States of America and also NDC and NPP in Ghana. Then we see if the elections have any effect on Ghanaian election. And tonight, I have in the house Bonto Ose Ekins, who is a political communication analyst and educationist. He's going to help us to have this discussion. And you who is watching, you can also send your comments. We are live on Facebook, YouTube. The name is Joseph Kofi, and also we are on chat room online radio, and then we are on Miss app. So you can follow us in all the social media platforms, and then we get interactive. So, Honorable, you are welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
So how is it?
We are doing well. And I can see you are doing fine.
Yes, I'm doing fine.
Under this current government.
Sure. So, as I said earlier on, there are a lot of issues around the recent election held in America, whereas Joe Biden is now the winner, who is going to the White House to become the president of America. And there are a lot of issues that, when Joe Biden was a vice president, John Dramani Mahama was also a vice president. John Dramani Mahama became president whilst Joe Biden is still a vice president. So now that he's now elected as a president, mind you, John Dramani Mahama was rejected 2016, but Joe Biden wasn't rejected. So will this kind of calculations work for NDC?
Thank you, my brother. Let me say a very good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners out there.
Okay.
Let me also use the opportunity to say a good evening to the incoming MP for the Buem constituency,
Okay.
in a person of Honorable Kwame Lawrence Aziabe.
Okay.
Let me also say a good evening to my family out there for allowing me leave the family to come and serve Mother Ghana this evening.
Okay.
U.S. elections.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people
Mm-hmm.
that don't agree with people comparing U.S. elections or U.S. democracy to Ghana's democracy.
Okay.
U.S. democracy is over 230 years old.
Okay.
Ghana's democracy is not even 50 years old.
Okay.
So the analogy where people try to compare U.S. outcomes to that of Ghana's election to some extent, or to far extent, does not really hold.
Okay.
I will call it a mere coincidence.
Okay.
That since 1992,
Yes.
the beginning of the Fourth Republic, Bill Clinton was president of the Republic, president of US, and he served from 1992 to the year 2000,
Okay.
representing the Democrats in US. And Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings was also the president within this period.
Okay.
Fine, John Ajay Kufuor took over from 2001 as president of this country.
Yeah.
By then, George Walker Bush was also the president representing Republicans in US.
Okay.
Down to 2009, Professor Mills took over from President Kufuor.
Yeah.
And in the US as well, Barack Obama took over from the Republicans.
Yeah.
This idea that Joe Biden has won, the truth is, I am yet to see an official communication
Okay.
that is declaring Joe Biden a winner of the just ended election.
Yeah.
But if the social media or whatever platform this information is coming from is something to go by, then as we speak now, Joe Biden has won the US election representing the Democrats of US.
Yeah.
Joe Biden served as a vice president
Yeah.
between 2009 and 2016,
Okay.
serving as a vice president under Barack Obama.
Okay.
President President John Mahama
Yeah.
served as a vice president between 2009 to July 2012.
Yeah.
And fortunately, he won the 2012 election and became the president of this country from 2013 to 2016.
Yeah.
One, Biden served as a vice president for 8 years.
Okay.
John Mahama, His Excellency, former president, served as a vice president for 4 years.
For 4 years. Okay.
Unfortunately, John Mahama's boss,
Yeah.
which was the late Professor Mills, died.
Yeah.
Did Barack Obama die?
Mm.
Barack did not die.
Yeah.
Barack served his 8 years term. Now, Biden won because majority of Americans were determined to bring Biden to power.
Yeah.
Most of them, their reasons are as a result of the way the current president of US, Donald Trump, the way he managed the COVID-19 related issues in US. They were not pleased with it. And as we speak now, over 200,000 people in US lost their lives. These 200,000, they all have families. Assuming each person that lost his or her life has about 20 family members. We are talking about 20 times 200,000. That's about 4 million. That alone is a huge vote margin. Assuming that all these people decide to vote against Donald Trump for poorly handling COVID-19 related issues in US. Biden's first attempt on elections in US is the one he just had, and he won. President John Mahama's first term as a presidential candidate in 2012, he also won. So despite the fact that they came to power at the same time serving as a vice president. When you climb higher, you get to know they have a lot of differences between them. If you look at Americans' history, with their 230 years democracy, out of these 230 years of democracy, Democrats in US, they have ruled US for almost 100 years.
Okay.
That's about 97 years, almost 100 years.
Okay.
And then the Republicans, they've also gotten the opportunity to rule US for just a little less than 60 years.
Okay.
Within the 100-year rule of the Republicans, or of the Democrats, we've had instances where some of the presidents served as a first-term presidents, and they lost their bid as a second-term contest in their second-term contest.
Okay, well, I'm coming. Viewers, if you just join us, this is the Daily Focus. My name is Joseph Kofi, and I have in the house Buntu Ose Ekins, political communication analyst and educationist. He's in the house tonight. You can start sending your comments through the Facebook. We are live on Facebook and also on YouTube, and also chat room online radio. So you can send your comments and then it will be read out. So we expect your comment. Okay.
So as I was saying,
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter, for instance, served as a president of US between the year 1977 to 1980, and he lost the election. One term. James K. Polk also served as a president of US between 1845 to 1848. He also lost as a first-term president. All representing the Democrats. So if those who want to tickle themselves want to go by that analogy, then you bear me witness, or you agree with me, that this is the first time that Democrats or the NDC that is relating to the Democrats in US.
Even John Dramani Mahama, president, sent a message congratulating Joe Biden and even telling him he's looking forward to working with him.
He can still work with him from opposition. And he can still work with him as a president. You know, if you are an ex-president of a country, there are a lot of privileges you and I do not have. So whether he becomes a president of this country or not, there is a possibility of getting the opportunity to work with him. I don't know what he meant by looking forward. Fine, he's contesting for this year's election, and out of the 12 aspirants, everybody is dreaming to win the election. So it could be that ex-president John Mahama is looking forward to work with him after he wins this year's election. But what I would want us to look at is simple. I'll advise my brothers and sisters out there, both NDC, NPP, Ghana Union Movement, and all the political parties. I'll urge them, especially NDC and NPP, because they are trying to rely on the Democrats or the Republicans, blah, blah, blah. I'll urge them to go out there and campaign. Because we have about a month or less. We have about less than a month, or 29 days or 30 days to this year's election. And within this period, a lot of things can change. So let's not be believing or be relying on some beliefs or faith that does not come from any scientific background. That so far as Democrats are in power, then NDC must be in power. So far as Republicans are in power, then the New Patriotic Party must be in power. My brother, if you really want to analyze the way of governance of Democrats in US, they are believed to be social democrats. NDC is also believed in Ghana to be built on social democrats ideologies.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question? How many social interventions can you mention that have been implemented by the so-called social democrats in Ghana's politics, which is the NDC? So I just don't want that. I don't want to ask you to mention, because you may not be able to mention any of them. I was saying in one studio some time ago that the New Patriotic Party of Ghana is deviating from its ideologies to be implementing the ideologies of NDC. And NDC is also gradually deviating from its ideologies to be implementing the ideologies of NPP. Because NDC is supposed to be a social democrat for the masses, for the less privileged in society. If you are for the masses and the less privileged in society, what we expect you to do is that you bring out policies and programs that will benefit the less privileged in society.
Okay.
Get Fund was introduced by President Rawlings in his regime. President Kufuor came in and introduced the National Health Insurance.
Okay.
He also implemented the FQ, the basic education in Ghana to be what? Free, even though it's mandatory in the constitution.
Okay.
Then President Mills took over. Unfortunately, he couldn't finish his term, even though before they came to power, they promised to implement the one-term premium for the health insurance, which they couldn't implement.
Okay.
President Mahama took over from his boss, and at the end of his tenure in office, couldn't implement any social intervention for the less privileged in society. You see, I've always been saying that every government, anybody that has ever ruled this country, one way or the other, has developed the country to some extent in terms of infrastructure.
Okay.
So what I want Ghanaians to know is that I want us to deviate from the normal norm, where we will be looking at political parties coming to us telling us that I have constructed your road, therefore vote for me. I have built a hospital, therefore vote for me. I have built a school, therefore vote for me. If you don't build a school as a government, are you expecting me to build it? Who is controlling our tax or our taxes? Who is controlling the revenue of this country? But elections in Ghana, I pray we get to a point where elections in Ghana will be concentrating on policies and programs.
Okay.
You see, till we get there, because there is nothing new as a president, like the current president, coming to me telling me you have constructed my road. And so what? If you don't construct my road, who do you expect to construct my road for me? If you don't build a hospital in my district or in my hometown or in my region, do you expect me to take my money to build a hospital? No. It's your responsibility. That is why I always say that in Africans' politics, we exalt mediocrity.
Okay.
You are elected to come and serve. As part of your responsibility serving, you need to give us all these social amenities.
Okay.
Because you are controlling whatever we have. So a US election would have had an impact on Ghana, or it will have an impact in Ghana's democracy and economy if it does not end peacefully.
Okay.
And with what I'm saying, it's possible there will be a lot of legal battles.
Okay.
And if it does not end peacefully, Africa as well as Ghana will suffer, because every year US supports Ghana's budget with a certain amount of money. So I was looking at the situation yesterday. I was asking myself, assuming there is electoral violence in US, assuming there is in fact war outbreak in US out of elections, who will go to their rescue? Because in Africa, anytime we have elections, US envoy, UN, all the powerhouse, all the powerhouses out there, the G8, the G20, they come to Africa to do what? To support us. So if today one of the members of the G8 is in crisis,
who will go and support them?
Who will go and support them?
Okay. All right. So this is the Daily Focus. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Charles Room Online Radio. You can send your comments and we'll look at it. Okay, so we are moving to our second topic. That is the rise of COVID-19 active cases in Ghana. What is the cause? And then you still help us to look at that. You see, the COVID-19 cases are coming up. Have you noticed recently?
Yes, I have. And I will say that our senior politicians out there should bow their head in shame.
Okay.
I'm talking straight into the camera. The president of this country, the leader of the opposition parties, should bow their head in shame.
Okay.
You closed down schools because there was an outbreak in this country.
Yeah.
As we speak now, beaches, clubhouses, pubs, cinemas are still closed. But politicians, senior politicians, out of their greed and selfish interest, even though per the president's one of the COVID-19 briefings stated, not once, not twice, continuously, that there is a ban on political rallies. My brother, this weekend, yesterday and today, if I tell you the number of political activities that went on across all the constituencies in Ghana, you see that Africa, our leaders, we have a big problem with our leaders. Our leaders, they have big problems out there. I was at Spinters Road yesterday, and I met a mammoth MPP walk along the Spinters Road. If I wasn't able to count, but the number of people I saw shouldn't be anything less than 10,000.
Okay.
I was at Odododiodiu, and I saw an NDC walk of over 5,000 people. Yet, the president is telling us that schools with population less than 10,000, schools with population less than 1,000, schools with population less than 200 should stay home. And Ghanaians are quiet. NDC, MPP, they will plunge this country to a mess. They do not, and I don't know whether you've noticed this interesting thing. When they go out there, they are in their nose mask.
Yeah.
You see President Akufo-Addo out there in his nose mask.
Yeah.
Those immediate people around him are in their nose mask. You see President Mahama.
Yeah.
Those people around him are in their nose mask.
Yeah.
But the vulnerable Ghanaians out there, the vulnerable Ghanaians walking on the streets, all in the name of political support, are without nose mask. And the media houses, everybody is quiet. nobody seems to care. Nobody is talking about it. My brother, as at the last time I checked, our active case count is around, or it was around 877. Ghana, we came as low as 100 active cases, and gradually is rising. If we are not careful, we maybe have, by the time we finish this election, by early January, we may have a second wave of this virus, and this country may have to go on a total lockdown. Politicians are not taking us serious. So I don't see the reason why. You see, it tells me that sometimes our senior politicians are not innovative enough.
Yeah.
There are so many means to reach the people out there.
Even when you go to town now, you see a lot of people.
I'm expecting the president will be addressing the country this evening, and I don't know, probably by now he's done with it, and I don't know what exactly he's going to say, but I'm expecting him. I haven't listened to him yet, but I'm expecting him to do something about it. You ban political rallies, all this work nonsense they are doing is more than a political rally.
Yeah.
At Buem constituency, my beloved constituency, they are organizing walk. Throughout the country, all this work, they are nonsense. Excuse my language, my brother. They are putting politicians, senior politicians, are putting the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian at stake. They do not care. NPP do not care whether people die and they win elections. NDC do not care whether people die and they win elections. And by the time we will be having the second wave, we might have finished voting already. Look at the hardship people went through when the lockdown was placed on Accra, Greater Accra, and then part of and Ashanti region.
Yeah.
Look at the struggle that some Ghanaians went through. So I'm telling the president of this country that if we are not careful, I'm not a health personnel, but we know very well that one of the favorite or conducive environment for COVID-19 is crowd. Until we stop organizing crowd-related programs, we shouldn't expect this case to go down.
Okay.
And let me urge my brothers and sisters out there. This one I'm talking to Ghanaians. I'm not talking to NDC. I'm not talking to MPP. Let me advise my brothers and sisters out there that if a politician invites you for any form of work, tell that politician to go for the mother, father, daughter, son for that work. Okay. Their daughters and sons, their children cannot be out there enjoying life, risking the lives of we the ordinary Ghanaians. Okay. A time has come that the youth of this country will rise and speak directly into the faces of our politicians. Okay. That enough is enough. Okay. If they want to reach us, there are so many ways of reaching us. If they do not know means by which they can reach us, they can contact you, they will get in touch with me, and I will devise means that they can get to the Ghanaian populace. This work nonsense does not buy votes. It does not bring in votes. Yeah. My brother, sorry, I'm using some words, but it's annoying. It's annoying. Yeah. The earlier we recognize it as Ghanaians, the better for us. Okay. NPP, NDC may not be in power forever, but Ghana will continue to be Ghana forever.
Okay, viewers, this is the Daily Focus with me, Joseph Kofi. I have in the house Mr. Bonto Ekins, and he's giving us a lot of firing works concerning the COVID-19 cases in Ghana, and he's just giving it to our politicians like that. We're supposed to come out with new strategies to do their campaign instead of gathering people, walk all over. You can start sending your comments to 0545 414427, and we'll be closing soon, but then I would like to find out the last words from Mr. Bunto before we draw curtains to today's edition of the Daily Focus.
Thank you very much. Before I give my closing remarks or before I summarize, it's not my style to use, excuse me to say, unprintable words. But sometimes when we talk about issues that has to do with the vulnerable in society, some of us get so passionate about it because of where we are coming from. So I'm sorry if I used any unprintable words that I'm not supposed to use. But I'm telling our senior politicians out there that if they win, if MPP win this year's election, he's going to rule Ghanaians. If MPP wins this year's election, they are going to rule Ghanaians. So these same Ghanaians, they are fighting helter-skelter to rule. They should not put their lives in jeopardy just for the sake of power. And let me tell my brothers and sisters out there that NPP, NDC will not be in power forever. But Ghanaians will be Ghanaians and Ghana forever. So, if any politician, this 1 month to election, if any politician comes out there to tell you to cause mayhem or to give you some little amount of money just to cause mayhem before, during, and after the election, tell that politician to his or her face that he should go for his family members. Let's take inspiration from politicians like Abu Jinapo and John Jinapo. Abu Ramadan and Adamu Ramadan. I'm talking about the vice president's wife and his brother. If you go to their family, we have NDC and we have NPP. So politics is a battle of ideas and not battle of guns.
Alright, so viewers, here ends the Daily Focus tonight. My name is Joseph Kofi, and I have in the house Mr. Ekins Osebonto. My producer for tonight did marvelous work. She's in the person of Mrs. Bonto Ose. So we want to thank you so much, and Mr. Bonto, thanks for coming. And then okay, so sorry I couldn't comment. Okay, so alright, so yeah, a lot of comments are coming, and then my producer just signals me that because of time we will not be able to read all the comments. So before we start next week's show, we'll read all your comments and then we'll address them one after the other. Thank you for choosing the Daily Focus. My name is Joseph Kofi. Bye. This one there. If I'm doing the editing, I can cut it.
Gio, the sad yes.
What got him? Your live video has ended. Okay, so share.
Yeah, no, I had you also know already editing.
It's the same place.